I'd give you a guided tour of my exhibition of watercolours, starting with Somerset in Flood. The first version I did of this painting was last year, after the big floods in Somerset, for the Sunday Times watercolour competition. It was exhibited there, and I've since done several versions, including this one. Not, by my own admission, quite as good as the first one, but still contains some quite nice elements, particularly like that bit there. Moving on, Parker's Piece. Remembered from my childhood when I lived in Cambridge. I never understood why it was called Parker's Piece, but I've since found out it was named Parker's Piece because a servant in one of the large houses called Parker was given a piece of the land. As simple as that. And here it is in winter with some little wintry figures. And this here, this lamppost, is called Reality Checkpoint for various reasons. Here is, I think, version 12 of St Martin's Lane, a favourite view of mine, favourite London view. Often after I've been for meetings, I'll stroll down here late morning, early afternoon, and just catch the sun. It really is one of my favourites. It opens onto Trafalgar Square with National Portrait Gallery, National Gallery, Nelson on his big stick. Love it. Here's a sort of fake montage of London, the London skyline. I've done probably 20, 25 of these. Varying moods, atmospheres, but this one's quite a contrasty one. Light glowing through the trees, some little figures which are known as staffage. They're incidental figures which give a sense of scale and place and whatnot. Here's another one, a slightly lighter version. Late afternoon, sky with St Paul's and the city in the background. Moving on, here's a couple of children running with their dog through a sunlit glade, I suppose. A bit whimsical, but I quite like it. Nice colours and wet in wet washes here with sort of warm and cool mixing together. Sense of fun. Here's a version 7, I think, of another view of London. Anyone who knows or lives in London, frequently crosses the bridges, knows that wonderful views you can get at night, and pretty much any other time of day when it's interesting, especially when it's foggy at night. That's when London is at its best. This is the Thames over at Richmond. Very tranquil scene. Tempting sort of water, little bits of sunlight pinging off the water here. And here's a slightly darker version. Edgar Allan Poe, this one. I'm not sure what's going on in there, but it's quite mysterious. Wells Cathedral. I grew up around in the West Country, as you can tell by my accent. And Wells was somewhere we visit occasionally, but home to this marvellous cathedral here. I've attempted some wet in wet washes here with warm and cool, and the tour in the background there, a chap walking his dog. Some sort of mysterious X here, I don't know what that marks. Daffodils, it must be spring, in spite of the autumn colours. There you go, contrast for you. Oxford. I didn't go to university there. I went to art college. warm spring blossom, I think we've got here. Again, these little figures, staffage, I love them. You just park them in under trees and that kind of thing. It just gives a sense of life to a painting. And again, wet in wet washes, warm mixing with cool. Marvellous, very wonderful skyline that. Anyway, we move on. Another university town, well, the university town, of course, Cambridge. A very misty view of King's College Chapel and the Georgian buildings either side of it. I didn't want to make too much of them. I just wanted to create a mood. Those two spires of that wonderful building across the meadows of the cows. Munching away in their own bovine supplicant kind of way. With warm light coming up over the cow. Moving on to some cyclists. I cycle, I used to, quite a lot less so now because I'm old. But these chaps, early morning, heading off into the mist, great fun. London again. This is a slightly wider version of the previous one I showed you. Again with the jetty coming out, illuminating the South Bank Centre, which they really worked well on improving from its rather ghastly 1950s incarnation. The London Eye, all sorts of great things happening on the London skyline. I love the way it's growing. It makes it a much more interesting city, I think. A mix of old and new, and there's the old, what's that place? The House of Criminals, I think they call it. And then all the military places along the Thames. Tugboat hauling rubbish off to Korea. This is Bickley, St George's Church, very close to where I live. I've removed the cars because I don't really like cars. The lich gate, lovely warm colours on this one. It's a church spire I can see from all sorts of places. Again, you've got the warm of the light pinging off and a lovely cool bit wet in wet. My favourite, staffage. Oh, I have included cars, there you go, but they're small and insignificant. A large full sheet version of Somerset in Flood. Quite happy with the lower part, not so with the sky. A bit biblical, a bit overworked. I prefer the sky on the other one, but there is a nice light ping. That's the trouble with watercolour, you can't go back and rectify things. You're just sort of stuck with it, but I've got some lovely little hit and miss bits here with the light coming off it. So I'm quite happy with the lower part. I'm not sure whether it would work as a painting without the sky, even though I'm not that happy with the sky. So, coming to the end. This is a made-up piece from, I think from my head. Chap running along the beach with his dog. Could be a woman actually, I don't know. On a beach. I've lived in Australia, and you get scenes like this early in the morning. Big empty beaches, a lovely warm breeze coming off the sea. Moving down, a view of the Downs, the South Downs. I can't remember exactly where, but it's a fairly straightforward landscape painting, not much to it. But I do like these wet in wet washes again. And I spend quite a lot of time walking. So views like this are familiar to me. I just love looking at landscapes and horizons and that kind of thing. All gets a bit relaxed. Some small ones. train coming into, that's a southwest train, so it's probably coming into Clapham Junction with the city behind. Urban, this one. And here's a somewhat whimsical little painting of lavender fields, France. I spent lots of time driving through France and you get these views of the horizon and trees lining the roads. And then lastly, that wonderful art installation at the Tower of London with the poppies. It really was quite a spectacle, one of the best pieces of work I've seen for a long time for so many reasons. The work that went into it, the fact that everyone can have a piece of it, what it represented, and the enormity of the tragic sacrifice that all those young men made. It really was one of the best things in a very good year of art last year. We had Rembrandt, Turner, Polk, some really good exhibitions in London. Very lucky to live so close to the city. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed the little walk around of my exhibition, and if you fancy buying any of these pieces, where's the actual lens on this thing? Oh, there. henryejones.com. A link below. Thanks.